Hey, welcome everybody. Still working on the boat. We're making some progress. Now's the more enjoyable time on a clean boat, installing wiring, accessories, not working in an old nasty boat. So I'm down to the wiring part, and that's what I'm going to kind of touch on mostly. It looks like a mess. I'll explain all of that, what all that's going to be. Decided to start at the bow. We're going to start with the navigation light or bow light. There's already a hole there. I have the original light. There's still a little bit of wire hanging out. I'll be able to reuse, and I did test it. It does work. I'll have to show you how to test it with the handy dandy battery there. On my wire colors, I did choose specific colors. I'm using gray for navigation. That'll be your bow light, and then also the anchor light, which is going to go here in that hole. Those will be gray for the power, black for ground. Since I don't have any ground strips at the bow, so I'm running a black wire from my terminal block that's going to be underneath the console. So I just need a black and a gray to go from the console where my switch is going to go right there. One of those holes is going to be the nav light switch. That wire needs to run from there all the way up front, come out that hole. And previously I had the cap off of this boat, removed every piece of wiring there was, so I'm starting from scratch. This manufacturer left us a nice tube. I'll get down here and show you. Way up there, there's a PVC tube that goes to the bow, and I've got a push wire. That's a piece of an old live well control cable that I saved for pull wires. I pushed that through the tube, and it came out somewhere in here. I had to dig it out of this hole. But there's the end there. I'm just going to tape my wires onto that and pull them on through. So let's start with that. I've already stretched out the wires and pre-cut them. I'm close to length. I always leave lots extra. There is some waste involved. I'll just sit you guys down. I'm going to get to work. And then we'll move to the back of the boat with all the wiring mess there. So I'm going to put the wires through the hole first. Black and gray. Black and gray together. Some people like to tape these together all the way down. Some do every foot. I'm not worried about that, except on the end. Electrical tape is your friend. I'm just going to take that in. A little bit of tape on it. Just like that. Make a nice little point. Poke through the hole. Got to reach around. Grab the wire. So I've got my black and my gray. We've got our light. On this particular light, this one right here is going to be the negative, and this one going to the end of the bulb is going to be the positive. So we're just going to butt connect those together. ordered a heat shrink assortment for this job, super cheap, and I also ordered the ring terminal set, which I'll use terminating the wires underneath the console and at the battery. Total cost on the wire, the heat shrink connectors, and the ring terminals, I think was $34 for all of it. And on the wire, I got a 6-pack of 25 feet each. When you're doing butt connectors, it's habit for me now. They just twist the wires, makes it a lot nicer. Slide in. And go all the way on crimps. Don't cheap out and get the stamped crimp / strippers. These are, I think, old Kleins. These are 20 years old, but they still crimp really great. Nice crimp there, and something I do also, give it they call it the tug test. Pull on your connection. Make sure you crimped it good. So we got, there's our two. This longer one was the ground, so that's going to be black. Shorter one was the positive, that's going to be gray. There we go. And that, push the wires down. There you go. Pull off the slack. There we go. Now, did it work? Here's the test. Going to strip back a little bit. Go to my battery. On the end of the battery, I've even labeled them positive and negative. That's these terminals right here. Negative, positive. We should have a light. I'll turn it that way so you can see it. And don't let these wires touch, that's very dangerous. This is probably not for amateurs to try. I use this for installing speakers to locate speakers in a boat. There we go, we got a light. It's a little dim, but it's on. Success. Now to get these two wires to the console. Take a wire and the pull cable. Make a nice little loop there. And tape it really tight. This should be an easy pull, so I don't have to go crazy on taping it. Last thing I do after ripping the tape, fold the tape over and give yourself a little handle. When you go to take this off, you can unpeel the tape really easily. A lot of people just flip it over and make it nice and smooth and have to take a knife and cut the tape. Don't do that. So now we're ready to pull. So you can see my wire down there. I'm going to have to crawl underneath there and pull it towards me and pull gently. It may get hung. You may have to push back and pull a little bit more. Don't try to do it in one quick pull. And then sometimes it just comes right through, so easy. got our bow light. If you have a label maker, now would be the time. Put a label on this guy. This is bow light or nav light. Ground, you can label it ground. All those grounds are going to the same spot. All my color wires are going to different switches. I think I decided the switch above, the hole above the key switch is where I'm going to put my nav lights. Key switch, nav lights, kill lanyard, bilge pump. And we'll deal with the ground there later. Now for this mess. Look at all that. Bunch of stuff. So, what I'll start with is the farthest one away, which is going to be the bilge pump, which is behind the battery, and then a little hole I cut out. The bilge pump's going to be the brown wire. The next longest is going to be where the anchor light goes. That's going to be the gray wire. I have a red and black pair of 10 gauge. This is all going to be part of the run that I'm going to tie up right now. This is my console accessory wire. This is going to give me power for all of my lights and pumps. Stereo, anything that's going to need 12 volts is going to run off of this. I've also got my trim wires. I used another brand, trim solenoid, and made my own wire harness. Got these wires going to the trim motor itself. Then I've got my battery cables that go to the battery, and then my up and down trim wires. And these go to a little switch that I installed at the back. So this is going all the way to the back. Take my brown wire. That's going to be going into the bilge. Go ahead and just run it where it's going to go. Okay, there's a little slack. We'll do the gray wire. The gray wire is only going to here. Only going to there. That'll keep it there for a second. So we got our gray, our brown, our trim wires, our accessory wire, which need to leave plenty to go to the battery. All these bundles now I can tie up to the mounts that I installed through the rub rail. Which I've got a few different kinds. You've got metal bands that you can hang on a post. They come in different sizes. Or you can use the zip ties. These also come longer for bigger bundles of wire. I've already got my nuts on the post underneath the rub rail. Let's go look. I think I'll give y'all some light. So right there, there's one of my posts I'm going to hang the wires on. Another one under the control box right there, that guy. And then you can see where my wires came out. I got a post there I'm gonna hang some wires from. There's one there. I'm gonna hang the steering cable by itself on that one, on that little metal clip. This guy. Now I'm going to hang the steering cable, just the steering cable by itself on that one. So that'll go there. So If you ever decide you want to be a boat mechanic, this is what you get to look forward to. So I've got all my length of wires about where I need them. Now you just got to get down there and do it.
Already looks better.
So these will all tie up nicely once I get some more zip ties on those. And they all disappeared. Still got a mess up here, so you just keep following and forward until you eventually get it all tied up. We'll do the steering cable. Tie that up. I think I need to grab some more zip ties. But in a nutshell, that's rigging a boat. That's what I do. Guess I enjoy it. Especially on something like this. This is a treat for me to be able to do this. Let's get this guy out of the way. These can be dangerous in a boat. Especially an aluminum boat. You fish and wires through around the bilge area and you touch the positive post of the battery, this cable will glow red. Yeah. Let's get to here. This is the control box harness. We're not using the control box harness except for the start and gear, which I need to locate those wires still. But I'm going to go ahead and run it up to the front like so. Grab everybody. Something like that. I think I will use this big clamp here. Just open it up, put it around your wires, close it, and hang it. That's solid. There it goes. I'll tighten those just slightly with the socket. They don't have to be super tight, just to hold the clamps on. The steering cable, harness, that can go on the next one. So to give you a little tour. Starting at the back. There's one hanging. There's another one hanging. Maybe a little too close for you. Those wires are hanging from that stud. There you can see there. And I haven't tightened the zip tie. I can go back and take the slack out of the zip ties. Didn't put a nut on that guy. He just fell right off. That's why you put nuts on them. I gotta get a nut for that one. I neglected to get one. But that's quick wiring. So install my bilge pump now. I can install my anchor light. I'm still short the ground wires. I'll run a black wire from this hole to a ground block, which will be mounted back here. I haven't decided. I may put a wall up for electrical panel somewhere to mount my trim solenoid. I'm going to have a resettable breaker between my boat accessory wires. This red wire is going to go to a resettable breaker. The ground will go straight to the battery or the ground block. It'll probably go to the ground block that I'm going to put in out back, and I'll run a 6-gauge wire from the battery ground to a ground block, and all the grounds on the boat. On the back of the boat will go there. And then all this will get cleaned up with more zip ties. It'll be up almost completely out of sight. So my other gray wire, while we're thinking about it, let's just go ahead and put him with his brother. Somewhere, I see it. It's there, oh, right there. There it is. So these are my anchor light and bow light. And then the brown wire I said is going to be my bilge pump. Sorry about the finger. There's my brown. We'll just poke him out that hole. And that pretty much wraps it up. I'll be legal. I'll have a bow light. I'll have an anchor light when I get it installed. One color I didn't touch on I have is blue. Blue we'll use for interior lighting. Then there's red and black. Those are usually accessories. But bare bones, just what I've installed, that's what most manufacturers use for their colors. Don't forget to turn this light around. I know I won't do that, but just in case, you never know. The light goes forward, guys. Well, there she is. I got the seat out of the way so I could work and set it back there in the corner, and eureka, I need another 2 more seats, because that looks kind of cool, having 2 bucket seats in the back, 2 bucket seats in the front. I think that'll work. Alright, well, hope you enjoy. I've still got some more work to do. Just wanted to give you an update and pass along a little wiring info. I'll get more in detail when I get to the panel, the fuse panel at the bow, and also what I was referring to as the ground block or terminal block in the back of the boat. We're getting close. Alright. Thanks.